Good evening, good evening. I'm very happy to be here with you tonight, even though I had to miss a really wild happy hour up at the Rochester Senior Center. No, it's a great deal for guys like me. 50% off all 16-ounce mugs of Mihalic. Actually, I'm kind of proud of the fact that at the senior happy hour, I'm known as one of the regulars. Okay. Pretty sharp audience, thank you. I admit that I'm getting older. I realized it actually last month down at the Detroit Auto Show. Someone mentioned crossover vehicle, and I immediately thought, hearse? Actually, a hearse is what we call a stage 2 crossover vehicle. Stage 1, of course, is a Buick. You need to go through the progression, right? And I got to tell you that getting older has really got me bent out of shape, physically and emotionally. And I don't take a lot of comfort in those cute little phrases that people throw at me to try to make me feel better. For example, aging gracefully. Now I can see that here tonight are a lot of people who are indeed aging gracefully. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them. For me, aging gracefully is like Angelina Jolie walking in through my front door stark naked. In other words, it's a great concept, but it ain't gonna happen. Another cute phrase is the poetic, "Let us grow old together." You know, that wasn't some philosopher talking about love and life. No, it was the guy down at American House talking about how they give discounts for double occupancy. I believe the complete phrase is, "Let us grow old together, it's cheaper." And guys, don't make the mistake I made. A while back one day, my wife looked at me with dreamy eyes and she said, "Let us grow old together." And I said, "No, that's okay. You go ahead, I'll catch up later." 34 years of marriage, I still say all the wrong things. Oh, and then there's that time-worn phrase, the golden years. Sure, these are the golden years, right? These are the years we need to sell all our gold to pay our friggin' medical bills. They should be called the no more golden years. And speaking of medical bills, I can't begin to tell you all the health issues I've been facing as I've gotten older. Last fall, I went in for my annual physical. You know, I make sure I get one of those every 3 years. And the first thing the nurse does is she measures my height. And I see that she writes down 5'8". I said, "Wait a minute, something's wrong here. I'm taller than that." She said, "Well, I'm sorry, sir, but the fact is that as you get older, you shrink." And I said, "Well, I know, but you didn't measure that part." Then she does the EKG, you know, a very simple test. She takes these adhesive back stickers, or sensors rather, and sticks them everywhere that I have body hair. And then after the electronic gizmo does its thing, she yanks them off. And that's the true test of your heart, okay? If you don't go into cardiac arrest when she rips off those suckers along with half your body hair, your heart is good for another 100 years, I guarantee it. Then she gave me a flu shot, and honest to God, a month later I got the flu, so I guess it worked. And then the doctor comes in and, you know, he looks in the ears, the eyes, the throat, and then he puts on one rubber glove. And that's always a bad sign, isn't it, guys? He puts on that one glove, he dips it into the Vaseline, and then, honest to God, he thinks he's doing stand-up at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle or something, and he says, "Well, here's the part where you get your money's worth." I said, "Hey, Doc, Blue Cross is paying for this. Do it to them." Which would be ironic, because a process very similar to that is what Blue Cross normally does to us, right? Now, I had been having some disturbing symptoms, and I mentioned them to the doctor ahead of time. So after that part of the exam, he sat me down and he said, "Well, Mr. Mihalic, due to a slightly enlarged prostate caused by the aging process, you have what we refer to as weak urinary stream syndrome, WUSS. In medical terms, you're a wuss." Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with this condition yet, let me give you a little background. When I was a younger guy, taking a leak wasn't like a leak at all. It was more like a solid stream of water shooting from a high-pressure fire hose. Nowadays, it's more like tapping a maple tree to make syrup. Just call me Mr. Butterworth. Yeah, when I was a younger guy, just like all the other guys, I would brag that I could pee the bark off a tree. Now I can't even pee the bark off a dog. And it's a condition that doesn't get a lot of respect. It doesn't generate a lot of sympathy. I mean, have you ever seen a Hallmark card that says, "Sorry to hear about your weak urinary stream"? I don't think so. And it's especially embarrassing around other men. Guys, you know how sometimes in winter we will drink a lot of beer and then go outside and write our names in the snow? Yeah. Ladies, you know we do that. I mean, where do you think all those yellow words come from? Dogs who can spell? No, that's our handiwork. Well, I can no longer make capital letters. In fact, about the best I can do now is lowercase 12-point font, and that's only if the wind is favorable. All the other guys are out there writing their first name, their last name, their phone numbers, and I'm just standing there grunting, trying to dot the I on Bill. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I've got to wrap it up now, and I see that the waitress has brought my favorite drink to the table. It's bourbon with fiber. Yes, that way I can drink myself into regularity and oblivion at the same time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the senior version of multitasking. Thank you very much.